I go to strikes and I go to events and I give speeches and stuff, like, without my parents there. Hey guys, it's Ari. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, hello, and welcome to my channel. Yes, I'm aware that my hair looks crazy, but that's because we're doing another hair dye Q&A. I'm actually bleaching my hair today, so that's what we're doing. Really? I need scissors? I'm not prepared for this video at all. Okay. Anyways, today, this is going to be a Q&A specifically about activism. I don't know how to cut things, it's fine. So I'm gonna stop rambling and let's get into the video. So the first question, oh sorry for the camera. The first question is, how did you start striking? Alone or with a group of friends? So when I decided to start my school strike, I thought I was going to be alone, like completely alone. I thought I was going to be completely alone and there was going to be no one there, and it was just going to be me all sad and by myself. But I started trying to organize a strike on social media. I started trying to spread things around saying, hey, it was I think May 15th. It was one of the deep strikes. So I wanted to like get a lot of people to get up to the Capitol. And so I was using social media to try to spread that message around. And a lady named Alyssa contacted me and she was like, I see you're trying to organize this strike, like this deep strike. There's a girl named Raquel who has been up at the Capitol for a little while already. And so she put me in contact with Raquel, and I started striking, and it was just me and Raquel for a few months, for quite a long time, it felt like. So we made friends. So I didn't originally have like a group of friends that we were all gonna strike, but I ended up just making friends with Raquel as the strike went on. What is the hardest part of being an activist? The trolls. Definitely the hardest part is the trolls. Just the ignorant people who make ignorant comments, or accounts that are created solely for the purpose of harassing activists, or men who pretend to be interested in climate things, or they truly are interested in climate things, but then once you start building a relationship with them, they just become really, really creepy and you have to block them. So that just really sucks. But yeah, trolls is definitely, like, at least for me, the most frustrating and like hard and obnoxious thing. Just because it's obnoxious. That's what it is. It's so frustrating and annoying, and it like just can get you down. And just the ignorance that people have makes you feel like everything's just hopeless because people are so ignorant. What is it like fighting for climate justice when your parents don't believe in it? What kind of discussions do you have, and do they support your work at all? So, my parents at first didn't want me to get into any of this. I told them I was going to be going to the Capitol. I was like, I'm going to the Capitol. I'm starting school strike. And they were like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. And they didn't really support it, but I did it anyway, and they let me. Well, I mean, because what else? I was gonna do it anyway, so it's like they didn't really have a choice to let me or not, but they let me. And so it's better now, almost a year later. My mom doesn't believe in climate change, and my dad does believe in it. He's just not as like passionate about it, and he doesn't get like the urgency that I have with it. They're not unsupportive. They are just not particularly extremely supportive. Like, I go to strikes and I go to events and I give speeches and stuff, like, without my parents there. And it doesn't really bother me because I feel like the activism world is like my world, not my world with my family. Like, there's my family world and then there's the activism world, and so it doesn't really bother me that they don't. I mean, my dad's come to one of my speeches and my mom's come to one of my speeches, but I don't know, like, it's just not a big deal to me, I guess, that they don't, like, support me more, if that makes any sense. And sorry for shaking the camera. It is frustrating, like, that my mom doesn't really believe in it. And as far as, like, what discussions we have, I don't really have discussions with my mom about it because we're just not going to agree. Her mind's not gonna change, and so we just try not to talk about it. So yeah, it is like frustrating sometimes that my parents don't understand the urgency and they don't understand what I'm fighting for and why it's so important. But then at the same time, they're tolerant of it, so it works out okay. And like my dad will tell me like that he's proud of me, like if I go speak at an event or if I get invited to some cool conference or something. Oh my gosh, I hope all the conferences aren't like canceled because of coronavirus this fall. What is the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you in your activism? There's not as much weird things as there is like just kind of crazy things or like cool things, I guess. One thing that is really weird is people who like hate me and hate us, hate youth activists. Like when we're at the Capitol, people will drive by and like scream at us or flip us off, which I think is just strange. Like, why? Like, we're just like, hey bro, let's protect the earth, and you're like screaming at us and flipping us off. Like, I do not understand the hatred. Like, if we were out there holding signs about like abortion or like gun laws or something, I guess that would make more sense. But we're literally like, let's have a clean earth and like protect water and air, and they're like, you know what, F you, and they just like are so angry and so aggressive, and it's really strange. But I mean, another thing that I think is, what was the word, strange, weird, that I thought was weird just like in a crazy way, is that there is a singer named Glenn Hansard who I love with all my heart and soul. He's from Ireland, so he has a beautiful accent, and he actually invited me to come to his concert and to speak.
Hi. This is so crazy.
And so I got to meet him before the show, and then he had me sit in the audience, and then after, he has some songs about climate change, and so after one of them, he had me come up onto the stage, and I spoke at the concert. So that was just really weird, and like in a good way and crazy, especially because I have all these backstage like passes and like credentials. I've saved them all obviously because they're awesome. But like I was wearing all my credentials, and so I was like, oh, I need to figure out how to get backstage. So I walk over to the backstage door, and this guy just is like, oh, and he just opens it for me. Like I was just a normal 16-year-old kid at the time, but people were like letting me backstage without even blinking an eye. Like obviously I had credentials, so I could be back there, like, but it was just weird for me, never having any experience like that ever in my life. And then suddenly everyone's like opening doors for me and like letting me backstage just because I'm wearing a lanyard. It was crazy. It was so weird, and just weird to be like recognized on such a huge level, and oh, man, it was epic. It was awesome. Oh, another thing that was weird, but again, like that I like is weird in a cool way, is that after that, and after I started giving a lot of speeches and like getting involved with a lot of things, people would DM me. Like I got a mom who DM'd me, and she was like, you're my daughter's role model, like she wants to be just like you. I hope my daughters grow up to be like you. And I've had people like bring their kids to strike and be like, hey, can we take a picture with you? That doesn't happen anymore because the hype has died down around me. Rip. But that was really strange for a long time, like just like acting like I'm famous. Like, can I get a picture with you? Can my kids take a picture with you? Like, you're my kid's role model. Like, that was super weird. But again, like, something that was really great, and I'm grateful for it. How did you feel when you first started school striking? I felt, that's like a really weird, like, not weird, like, but like good question. Like, it's just like a weird, interesting question. I felt this sense of like headstrong determination. Back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. I was just like, I was very angry at that time. I didn't fully understand the crisis, and I didn't understand what was going on. All I knew is that the government sucked, which is still true, and very much relevant. But I didn't understand very many aspects of the crisis. And so I was just like angry, and I was like, we're gonna go and change things because the government is the worst. And so it was just a lot of, like, negativity almost. And, like, striking made me happy and everything, but it was such like I said, a headstrong type of feeling. Not like a, oh, we're gonna change the world feeling, but, like, I hate the world kind of feeling. Obviously, that's changed now. Do you think civil disobedience is effective? If so, what forms? So, when Extinction Rebellion started, like, getting big, and they did the International Rebellion in October, was it October? I don't know. I wanted to join XR with all my heart and soul. I wanted to get arrested. I wanted to do civil disobedience. I wanted to chain myself to a boat. Like, I was ready. I was not allowed to because I was 16, so my parents were like, no. But, I loved XR so much. But then as time went on, and I did talk about this a little bit in my interview with Epic Tomorrows, which I will link in the description and the pinned comment, but they just started doing things that were more and more questionable. And this isn't about XR, that's not what this question is about. But, so now with XR, half their actions, I'm like, hell yeah, like, civil disobedience. And then half of them, I'm like, seriously, can you not do that? Just because there's been a lot of controversy and stuff. But, I love civil disobedience when it's done correctly, when it's done right. Like, when the rebels were taking over the bridges, which basically means Extinction Rebellion was, they were taking bridges. They were occupying bridges so no cars could go through, or blocking, like, doing blockades on other, like, highways and things like that. I thought it was epic. It was epic. It was really, really cool. And I think that that's a really good form of civil disobedience, is road blockages, especially because something that's really sweet that a lot of XR people do is they'll have, like, not a pamphlet, like a handout. So the cars that are stopped, they run up to the car and they give them the handout that says, like, hi, we're Extinction Rebellion, this is why we're blocking this road. And then it'll tell them, like, the alternate route, like how to, like, oh, go one block that way and then you can turn and it'll get you to the same place. I really like that because it's civil disobedience. It makes a statement, it makes the news, it has a governmental effect, but then you're not, like, inconveniencing people. I mean, the whole point of it is to inconvenience people, but you're inconveniencing people in a respectful way, if you know what I mean. So I do really like road blockages, and I love it when they take the bridges, especially when they have all their banners, and it's, like, an epic, like, we've taken the bridge. I just think it's really cool and, like, really badass. And then I also, with civil disobedience, I love the idea of, like, chaining yourself to something, chaining yourself to a tree, creating a human chain to block something. I just think that's really cool and really powerful, and that's something that's been done for a really long time. As far as, see, I totally didn't even answer the question. As far as, is it effective? Yes, it is. But it's not going to be effective if you're stupid and you do it in a stupid way. I'm not going to point out any specific XR actions, especially because a lot of the stupid things that have been done have just been people doing them and saying they're from XR. Because of the way XR is set up, you can just do something and be like, for XR, and they don't have really a say in it. But just, there's been examples from XR and from other civil disobedience environmental groups that I'm like, okay, that was not done well, it's not effective, that's just going to be really bad press. But other than those things, it's been proven time and time again that civil disobedience is effective. I mean, Rosa Parks, like, deciding to not to stand or to sit. Oh, I'm so tired. Anyways, Rosa Parks on the bus. That was civil disobedience. She broke the law, right? Like, and she got in trouble for it. And obviously that action didn't, like, solve racism. Obviously, we still have racism. But that was civil disobedience, and it did make a huge impact. So yes, if you look through history, civil disobedience is effective. What protest signs have you seen that have caught your eye and your imagination? Do you guys like how I'm just completely covering this hand in bleach? I really like, so at our strikes here in Utah, well, before coronavirus happened, I tried to kind of have a rule of thumb of like make sure your signs are appropriate, because not only are there kids at strike, but we also I'm in Utah, and so it's very conservative, very religious. So I don't want any signs that are gonna make us look really bad, even if they're true. And so when I see people from other places having signs that are like a little bit risky, like maybe a little bit mean or rude or a little bit just like has a curse word on it or something, I just really like seeing them, because I try not to have them here just because that's not effective and that could hurt us more than it could help us. But I also like the ones about school, like we're not like, oh, I'm so tired, sorry. The ones that are like, we're missing our lessons to teach you one, or if you were smarter, we would be in school. Like, and again, I like them because they're true and they're factual and they have a good point. But then at the same time, for like the strikes that I organize, I'm kind of like, we want to get on these politicians' good side and work with them, because if they just feel like we're against them, they're not going to want to work with us as much, you know, if that makes sense. So I like signs like that. I also like signs making fun of Trump because, you know, it's Trump. I also just really like signs that I've never seen before, because I feel like a lot of the signs, and I mean, most or all of my signs are just versions of signs that I've seen before. But there's like so many just generic signs that you see at every protest that every protester has. So when I see a sign I've never seen before, that's really creative or just like it's new and I've never seen it, I really like that, because it just adds it's more creative, you know. What advice would you give to someone who's considering becoming an activist? Somebody's going to hate you no matter what you do. No matter what you do. So just do what's right. Just do what you know you have to do, and what you know is right, and what you know is going to change the world. Because people are going to be angry at you no matter what. So you might as well just do what you want. And if they hate you, they hate you. Because they're going to hate you even if you're doing exactly what they're saying.
One's always going to hate you no matter what. Might as well just be yourself and let people think you suck.
Like, for example, my friend Eva and I, we did a earth cleanup video on this channel where we went to the park and we picked up like 600 pieces of garbage. And I got hate for that video. We literally picked up garbage at the park and people were mad about it. So there's always going to be trolls. They're always going to try to piss you off. They're always going to be mad at you. Like, you could like save someone's life and they would be angry at you because you did it wrong. Like, so just be prepared that you're gonna have to have really, really thick skin.
But you don't get thick skin without getting burned.
And not let it get to you. Like, I recommend, like, what I do, and it's kind of a rule of thumb for activists and climate activists, is report, delete, block, report, delete, block, report, delete, block. If someone is harassing you online or trolling you or just generally being hateful, do not interact. Do not interact with the trolls. Do not feed the trolls, is what we say. Like, if someone is being hateful or trying to troll you or any of that thing, like any of that stuff, don't interact with them at all. Don't reply. Don't do any, like, all you have to do is just report, block, delete, report, block, delete, report. And then guess what? You blocked them and that person is out of your life forever. Hatred gone. So it's really difficult because trolls will say things and you like really want to like prove them wrong and be like, no, you're wrong. Like, let me explain to you why you're wrong, especially because the climate crisis is such a big issue that like we need people to be educated on it. And so it's very much like, no, like, let me educate you because you are wrong and you need to know the truth. But these trolls don't care. They don't want to learn the truth. Like, they just want to troll you and be angry. They don't actually care about climate change or lack thereof, in their opinion. Like, they don't actually care about what we're talking about. They just care about being hateful. And so, yeah, like, I mean, I think that's probably my biggest advice. But then there's also a second advice. I just thought of second piece of advice, which is watch out for your mental health. Because activism, like, has saved my life, quite literally, as far as a mental health standpoint. But it also, for a period of time, it really took a toll on my mental health. Not in a good way. And I've seen a lot of other activists in that same position. So just remember, like, you don't have to say yes to everything. You don't have to be the perfect activist. There's no one that you need to be living up to. As long as you're doing your best and putting everything that you can into your activism, then you're an activist and you're a perfect activist, and that's, like, you're fine. Don't let activism destroy your mental health. Don't get in the comparing game of, well, that person has given speeches and I've never given a speech before, so I'm not a good activist. Or, oh, I am failing school because I never do my homework because I'm always on conference calls about organizing. Like, you need to take care of yourself first, because you know what? I didn't take care of myself. I used activism as an unhealthy coping skill, and I had to stop doing activism for 3 months because I was in the hospital, because I did not take care of myself and my mental and physical health. And so it may seem like you have to do everything now, but if you think about it, if you do everything now and get burned out, then you can do nothing later. So just, like, take care of yourself and make sure that you are able to do activism for a long period of time, and that includes taking breaks. If you, like, I went to the hospital again, but like previously, last August, I believe. Yeah, it was in August. And when I got home, it was like, there was a Friday and it was time for strike, right? Like, the week after I got home, and I didn't go. You know why? Because I had just gotten out of the hospital, my life was crazy, and I didn't have the mental and physical capacity to go to strike that week. See, I really hate doing that, though. Like, I hate being like, oh, I can't go this week, like, I have to take a mental health check, because I think people use it as a not a real thing. They use it as an excuse and be like, it's frustrating. But genuinely, take mental health days. Like, allow yourself rests and breaks, and just don't let activism take over your entire being and hurt you, if that makes sense. Just be careful. That is it for this video. I'm going to be doing a part 2, which will actually be, I think, a part 4 of the hair dye Q&As, but a part 2 of this hair dyeing sequence with the activism questions. So make sure you look out for that. Subscribe, turn on notifications so it'll come up in your subscription feed when I release it. But thank you so much for watching. I will, I always forget to, but maybe I'll insert a picture of what my hair looks like after it's bleached here. And in the next video, I will be dyeing my hair red and answering the rest of your activism related questions. I would do the whole peace out and, like, touch the camera thing, but it's not a good idea. So thank you for watching. I love you. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Ask any more questions you want in these comments, and I may answer them in another hair dye Q&A video. And I love you guys, and peace out.
You're back.